will make it official. Snap, knee, the Patriots defeat the Chargers. That magical season for the Bolts has ended, and hope they can do it again next season.
We will learn from this. We'll be a better organization. We make sure that we take something from this. We grow, we develop. I'm excited to be head coach of this football team. I appreciate every single one of you, and believe me, we will be back.
We only got one goal. Let's get the ring, baby.
Let's go, let's go, let's get better, let's get better, let's get better. Let's go, full speed, full speed.
We still ASAP, any squad, any place. We want any smoke.
This Chargers team is absolutely loaded, and they learned something last year.
Wide open, what a night for Mike Williams.
Pressure ball is stripped, diving for it. Charger ball, Charger ball.
And with that, the curtain finally set to rise on a brand new season of Chargers football. It begins in the desert. Some beautiful overhead shots of downtown Phoenix. Temperatures hitting the triple digits. Just another average summer day here, about a 40-minute drive away. In Glendale is where the Chargers take their first baby steps into the new season, and we could not be more excited to be bringing it to you tonight. I'm Spiro Adidas, who's luckier than me, hanging out with a couple of Chargers greats. Two Hall of Famers, of course, LaDainian Tomlinson, and look who is back, a man whose facial hair has inspired me for a number of years. Dan, good to have you back. We missed it.
It's great to be back, and I'm really excited about this Charger team.
Guys, so much to talk about. We have heard Super Bowl contender from the experts as we get set for this Chargers club. 12 wins last year. They got their first playoff berth in 6 years, first playoff win in 5. LT, give us an area of the team that you're looking at as we try to figure out if this team can take the next step.
Well, Spiro, one of the major storylines coming into camp was about this defense. And can they take the next step? Can they become a dominant defense against the likes of a Kansas City Chiefs, the New England Patriots? But we know about the stars of this team, Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram. It's about the other guys tonight, Justin Jones, Nwosu. These guys who have played a little bit, but they have to try to become prominent defenders on this defense and try to earn a role tonight.
Dan, you talk about the evolution of a franchise trying to become a winner. You know, for a lot of people, Chargers may have snuck up on some teams last year. Now that target is firmly on their back, and the question becomes, how do they deal with that kind of pressure every weekend?
Well, they've had expectations, but not expectations this high. A lot of people think this is a Super Bowl contender, a Super Bowl winner, if you will. The nucleus of that 12-4 team is back, except for one guy, Melvin Gordon. We'll talk about that throughout the broadcast. But the talent is here. There's still questions now. Big questions on the offensive line and the linebacking core. It should be fun.
Yeah, we'll start to answer some of those questions tonight as we are geared up. Preseason football coming your way here in the desert. Chargers and the Arizona Cardinals will have the opening kick coming up as Haley Ed will join us on the sidelines as well. Back with you here in Glendale, just seconds away from the opening kick. Preseason opener for both the Los Angeles Chargers and the Arizona Cardinals. Haley Elwood is back for her second season, patrolling the sidelines for us down on the field. Haley, welcome back. What do you got?
Thank you, Spiro. Now, one of the biggest questions about this Chargers team heading into the 2019 season concerns the offensive line, specifically at left tackle. That's because on the very first day of training camp, Chargers starting left tackle Russell Okung announced that he suffered a pulmonary embolism caused by blood clots. So while he receives care, enter Trent Scott. Scott appeared in 9 games for the Chargers last season with 1 start at right tackle, and tonight will make the start at left. So how much can we expect to see of him? According to Chargers head coach Anthony Lynn, expect quite a bit considering it's reps like this in the preseason for Scott and other young guys that are invaluable as they get ready for week 1. Guys?
Haley, this is really a developing story, and it's huge. You talk about, a 37-year-old quarterback under center for Anthony Lynn and Phillip Rivers, and suddenly your blindside protector, his health status is up in the air. We will get into Okung's story as the night goes on, but to Phillip Rivers in street clothes, guys, as he will be a spectator, and Tyrod Taylor, the artist formerly known as Tyrod for a little bit of a stretch last year. He's back to Tyrod these days. As guys, the waiting is over. Here we go.
Well, you always ask the parents, how do you pronounce your son's name? They all said Tyrod.
Yeah, it was.
We'll go with that.
I'll go with Tyrod.
LT likes it. Phillip Rivers, I'm sure, would rather be wearing the uniform tonight, but he is held out. Precautionary measures as Arizona will kick. Zane Gonzalez boots it away, and the preseason is underway here in Glendale. Artavis Scott watches that one sail through the back of the end zone. So here is your brand new backup quarterback behind Phillip Rivers, Tyrod Taylor. 3 years as the full-time starter in Buffalo with the Bills. He is reunited with Anthony Lynn. He becomes the #2 quarterback, and you know, a lot of questions of him as a long-term viable starter for a franchise. But if Tyrod Taylor is your backup quarterback, the feeling is you've got a pretty good situation.
Well, he's got the experience, and having worked with Anthony Lynn, very familiar. Although this is a totally different offensive terminology, he has to learn.
Of course, no Melvin Gordon as his holdout continues, so Austin Eckler is your starter at running back. Little play action pass, and he goes to Eckler. Some open space in front of him, and a nice start for this Chargers offense that ranked 11th in the NFL in total yards last year. It's a pickup of 14. As we take a look at the starters, Haley mentioned the left tackle, Trent Scott. Forrest Lamp, boy, a guy who basically has missed the last 2 years. The former second-round pick. So much anticipation, guys, to see Lamp play.
Yeah, and at this point, Forrest Lamp, he needs reps, and it's going to be a vital preseason for him to get those reps.
Second-round pick back in 2017, that knee injury in camp as a rookie. As here is Eckler. It was that incredible feel-good story for the Chargers 2 years ago. He picks up 5 yards here. And guys, former Division II collegiate player, this really is his big moment until everyone waits for Melvin Gordon to walk through that door.
Yeah, 5 yards on that carry, and that's what he averaged last year. In fact, his career average is 5 yards. 39 catches last year, got the Chargers started with that first reception coming out of the backfield.
So 2nd and 5. This is Taylor from the gun. A pass over the middle is complete. That's a pickup of 7 yards, and there is Hunter Henry, the man who missed basically all of last season, was able to return for that divisional round playoff game, played 14 snaps, but the ACL tear on the first day of minicamp. And you know, he basically is like a free agent acquisition, a guy who rejoins this offense. So much promise in this young man's game.
He's a welcome sight for the Los Angeles Chargers, a guy that can do a lot for you, but we'll see a lot of Hunter Henry going forward.
Well, could very well be the first time since 2002 that we are seeing a Chargers offense without the future Hall of Famer Antonio Gates. Still remains a free agent, but really it's Henry's show at this point. Here's the little pitch, Eckler, where you give him any bit of daylight and he's going to wiggle his way through. It's a pickup of 13 yards, finally tackled on the play by Budda Baker. But LT, this is what makes him so good, that little shimmy shake.
Yeah, he's just a slippery little runner, I tell you, and this is a nice little misdirection, little jab step by Austin Eckler. Finds a nice block there and gets up inside for a nice run there. First down.
Well, Eckler last year started 3 games. The games that Gordon missed due to injury towards the latter stages of the season. This is Taylor. We know he's got the wheels. Taylor inside the 15-yard line all the way down to the Cardinals' 13. It's a pickup of 21 yards. And we've been watching this, Dan, the last couple of years from Taylor.
Well, this is why he's special as a backup quarterback and as a starter. Watch him read this hole in the pass protection and then just explode into the secondary, outrunning, among others, Terrell Suggs.
Taylor signing that 2-year deal for just over $11 million to replace Geno Smith as the backup quarterback behind Phillip Rivers. So there he's joined in the backfield by Justin Jackson, a former 7th-round pick. Get ready for year 2 as a Bolt. And here is Jackson taking on the interior of that Arizona defense. It's a pickup of 8 yards, and now everyone moves up that depth chart, guys. It's Eckler, the starter, and now Justin Jackson, who really was slowed by that hamstring injury in training camp last year, really put him behind the 8 ball, but Jackson has had what they say has been a terrific camp.
Yeah, and Justin started to come on a little bit toward the end of the year. As Melvin got hurt, Justin got some really good carries, and I expect to see a lot of him this preseason.
Jackson off the field here. Eckler back in on 2nd and 2. Eckler, a little delayed handoff. And the big story, guys, as we are a couple weeks in now to this Melvin Gordon situation, is can these two guys together combine to give them some of what Melvin did? No one can replace Gordon, of course, but that's the plan at this point until Gordon is able to walk through that door again.
Yeah, and I think both of these guys together are capable of giving them a lot of production from the running back position. They're different guys, but together I believe they can get the job done.
This is Eckler up the gut. Football is loose. And the officials say it's Cardinals football. Jordan Hicks on the recovery, and Eckler, who's had some of those hiccups in the past, and the turnover on the Chargers opening drive, and it's Arizona football.
Well, he had one fumble last year. They lost 3 in his career. This is a real killer. Inside the 5-yard line, gang tackling, and what Hicks does, he reaches in, grabs a point on the ball, and just pulls it out. Something that just can't happen. Hicks forced the fumble. Hicks recovered the fumble. He had such a good opening drive. Receiving the ball in the first play, a bunch of solid runs, but it's all wiped out by that fumble inside the 5-yard line.
And something that Anthony Lynch for sure doesn't want to see from his running backs as a former running back coach himself.
And guys, that gives way to Kyler Murray, the #1 overall draft pick, as he makes his highly anticipated Cardinals preseason debut. The give here to David Johnson, as Johnson is barely able to get back to the line of scrimmage. And this is a big story here in Arizona. Can Murray be the guy, the long-term future for this club? They've been searching for a quarterback for a number of years, and this is Murray and what he represents, the Heisman Trophy winner last year. And guys, here we go, our first glimpses of the first overall pick.
You saw the 4,000 yards passing. He also rushed for 1,000 yards, so it's a dual threat. Big question is, will he be able to see? He's only 5'10", or at least that's what they list him at. And we know that's always a lie, right?
Well, let's keep in mind this is an offense that Kyler Murray has been running since his junior high school days, so he's well familiar with this offense.
Nice throw on the play. It's a pickup of 6. As we take a look at the starters, Damiere Byrd on the reception for Arizona. Look at the starters. Some of the key players are out tonight. No Melvin Ingram or Joey Bosa, given the night off. Kaiser White does make the start. Denzel Perryman. No Thomas Davis, the big free agent acquisition, 14 years in Carolina. So his preseason Chargers debut will be held off at least for a week. The Chargers defense that finished the season last year ranked 6th in yards allowed in the NFL. 3rd and 3 from the 9. Murray from the gun. The pass is complete. This will be a first down catch for the Cardinals. A pickup of 8. So 2 throws, 2 receptions. Trent Sherfield on the reception. Cardinals able to move the sticks.
You can see the pass protection that Murray is getting. Of course, with Bosa out, Tillery out, Ingram out, Mebane out. It's time for the Charger backups to step up a little bit. You got the Cardinals pinned inside the 5-yard line, and Murray's had all day to throw the last 2 times.
Johnson, a long setback. This is Murray now maybe changing the play at the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10 from just outside the 16-yard line. Now go up to Johnson. Yeah, guys, the interesting thing about, as we watch Kyler Murray take his first snaps as an NFL quarterback, first time he's experiencing the play calls into the helmet with the headset, something that he, of course, did not experience in college, where it's all the hand signals. So much of this new for him as he takes his first steps into his NFL career.
And remember that the communication shuts off after 15 seconds or so, so he doesn't have the coach in his ears. He goes to the line of scrimmage and looks at the defense.
Murray once again from the gun, fakes the give to Johnson. Going to throw it on the run, and he completes on a 2nd and 7 pass. That's Sherfield again, a pickup of 8 yards. And it will be another Cardinals first down.
Well, this is something that Kyler Murray does so well, is throwing on the run. You see it there. He fakes to David Johnson and just rolls out for a nice throw. And there's Cliff Kingsbury, the master of this offense.
Kingsbury becomes the latest college head coach to make the jump to the NFL. First time we've seen it since 2000. I beg your pardon, the 12th and the 1st since Bill O'Brien did it in 2014 with Houston. But that was a move as we get a penalty flag thrown here. after the 5-yard pickup by Johnson.
Holding. Offense, number 87. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
You know, it was a decision to bring in Kingsbury, Dan, that really surprised a lot of folks around the NFL. Didn't have a ton of success at Texas Tech. We know about his high-octane offenses there with the Red Raiders, but his ability to work with the quarterback and teach offense certainly was the reason he got the job.
Well, he was 35-40 at Texas Tech and just 19-35 in the Big 12. So that's why the controversy, but he is his own offensive coordinator and the head coach. Pressure is on.
A lot of pressure on both of those men, Kingsbury and Murray. As we get our first look at them, this is Johnson. Johnson, of course, missing basically the entire 17 season a couple of years ago with that wrist injury. Picks up 14 here. His production dipped a little bit last year, but so good out of the backfield.
Yeah, and watch the center. This is A.Q. Shipley. And look at the versatilities. He gets the key block right there on Kaiser White. That allows Johnson to get up the field for the first down, or close to, after the penalty.
So a good start for Murray, who's hit his first 4 passes, 36 yards. And a change at running back for Arizona. Chase Edmonds will come in for David Johnson. Murray slinging it far side of the field. That is Sherfield again. It's Jameer Byrd on the reception. A pickup of 7, and so far so good, guys, from Kyler Murray.
Well, the one thing that I'm seeing early is the ball is really coming out very quickly, Dan, and I'm sure that's a part of this offense, is get the ball out of your hands very quickly.
Not only quickly, but that was a long throw to the sideline, had a lot of zip on it. He got it there in a hurry.
See Murray's numbers so far. He has worked almost exclusively from the gun until this point, as they've got a fresh set of downs. Another one here to the great Larry Fitzgerald, who is getting himself ready for year 16 in the NFL, the 11-time Pro Bowler, right back to the line of scrimmage. And well played by that Chargers defense.
I got to think Larry didn't like that play too much. You got to read the defense, young man. Don't throw it to me when there are 2 guys on me.
Fitzgerald,
absolutely nothing.
Future Hall of Famer, will be wearing that gold jacket with you guys very soon.
The play tells you about the speed of this Chargers defense now.
Murray able to elude the first tackler. Throw into the run, and he completes again. That's Keyshawn Johnson. Markers are thrown behind the play.
Keyshawn was out of bounds. He came back in and caught the ball. Both officials right on the spot. And they threw the flag, but we're seeing Murray escape pressure and throw on the run. Another good throw, but it's coming back.
The receiver stepped out of bounds, came back in, and was the first to touch the pass. Illegal touching, offense. The penalty is a loss of down at the previous spot. It's 3rd down.
Yeah, you got to know where you are on the field. The left foot is out of bounds clearly. But
Correction.
Really,
it's 2nd down.
This is what's going to excite a lot of Cardinal fans, is the ability to get out of the pocket on the run.
The penalty is a loss of down. It brings up 3rd down.
He ran away from Chris Peace.
So that will wipe away a 6-yard pass play. And it'll make it 3rd and 9 here from just inside the Arizona 40. Where does Murray go here on 3rd down? Under heavy pressure, never had a chance. They dump him down for the sack. It's a loss of 5 yards. As Chris Peace able to make first contact for the Chargers.
Yeah, he didn't get him the last play, but he certainly gets him this time. Watch him come off the corner here. And he just blows by. Number 74, DJ Humphries, never touched him.
Anthony Lanier was right behind them, so that will end the Cardinals drive that started well. They began from inside their own 5-yard line. Punt by Andy Lee is fielded by Artavis Scott, and he is blown up. Trent Sherfield had a couple of catches earlier with a terrific special teams play. 53-yard punt, and Scott is buried. Stage Chargers returns in September for an all-new season of exclusive behind-the-scenes access as we follow the team both on and off the field. Some incredible access behind the Los Angeles Chargers. Had a lot of fun watching that show last year, and they are back. This 12-win bunch from a year ago that finished just 1 win away from a trip to the AFC Championship game. Preseason opener, offensive drive number 2. Tyrod Taylor able to find his man Austin Eckler out of the backfield. So a very impressive opening drive as Eckler picks up 5 here, but it ends with the Eckler fumble. That happened, guys, inside the Arizona 5.
And this is just something that you can't do, especially down by the goal line. You have to make sure you protect that football. You know that the defenders are coming in to try to strip the ball. You know, Austin did a lot of good things on that drive, but he did the one very thing you cannot do. That's put the ball on the ground.
It looked like the Cardinals were holding Eckler up, waiting for someone to come in and attack that football.
Fantastic defensive play by Jordan Hicks on the strip. This is our first look at Jeremy Davis, the former 6th-round pick of the New York Giants. Always seems to stick around. He's become such a special teams ace for Anthony Lynn, but just unable to find some open real estate in the flat.
So for Eckler, on the positive side, he's had 4 carries for 21 yards, 2 catches for another 20 yards, but you wonder how much that fumble will affect his status.
Eckler penciled in as the starter with no Melvin Gordon. And Justin Jackson is back up. Here's Taylor on 3rd and 5 from the gun. Put some air under it. It is caught. First down, Chargers on a terrific catch by Mike Williams, a pickup of 28.
Now this is a Mike Williams special, beating the bump and run, and then getting down the field, and the ball perfectly placed, a back shoulder throw, and at 6'4", he goes up over the top of the 6-foot Chris Jones. A huge play for the Chargers to get out to midfield.
Boy, he is just so good at going up and attacking that football. What a weapon.
With his size and jumping ability, it's almost as if he is always open down the field. And what a pass, meantime, by Tyrod Taylor. Taylor, by the way, 4 of his first 4 for 54 yards. Here he is throwing on the run. Back and completes. That's Hunter Henry for his first, make it 2nd catch of the night, a pickup of 10. Dan, what's it like to throw to a guy like Williams who has that leaping ability and the bulk, the size on that frame?
Well, most defensive backs are 6 feet, okay, on average. And so if you've got a guy that is 6'4" or 6'5", and with leaping ability, and then you add in the desire to make the big play like Williams, it's heaven for a quarterback.
The catching radius is what quarterbacks typically like.
Eckler, shot out of a cannon. That's a first down run and a lot more. A pickup of 19 yards on a 2nd and 1. As we are inside of a minute, Rudy Ford finally on the tackle.
Same type of play, LT, a stretch, and then he cuts it back up the field. Good vision, explosion, breaks the tackle there. Watch him cover up. He's learned his lesson, maybe.
Yes, he has.
Over 500 rushing yards for Eckler last season. Dan mentioned the average yards per rush in his career is at 5.3. Still thinking about that lost fumble as Jackson gives him a blow here. And that should take us to the end of the first quarter. So 1 turnover for Los Angeles, the story.
This is
but another good-looking drive inside Cardinals territory will continue when we come back. Preseason opener tonight in Glendale. The Chargers and the Cardinals scoreless. Chargers preseason football is sponsored by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hurry into a Southern California BMW center today for exceptional offers or visit SoCalBMW.com for details. Beautiful summer night here in Glendale, Arizona. Some terrific shots of downtown Phoenix. Temperatures reaching up into the 113 mark today. But luckily, it's a lot cooler indoors here at Glendale as Eckler out of the backfield with the catch. You know, guys, every year it seems that we have a couple of rule tweaks, but this is a big one this year. Pass interference now a reviewable play in the NFL, whether it's called on the field or not. And this is something that a lot of folks are talking about as we gear up for the regular season.
this may be Pandora's box, because a lot of people think that the NFL may have overstepped their bounds a little bit with this new rule. Obviously going to be very controversial after what happened in New Orleans in the playoffs last year.
Here's Taylor, nowhere to go with his arm. He's going to run for it. Able to duck inside the 5-yard line, a pickup of 11. Yeah, out of bounds by Nate Brooks.
Who was the Heisman Trophy winner? Who's the escape artist? It's not Kyler Murray today. Look at Tyrod Taylor in his 9th year now in the NFL. Still has the wheels and the wisdom to get out of bounds.
79 is eligible. Number 79 is eligible.
Well, he has gotten himself hurt, of course, with that running ability over the last couple of years, but he's healthy. He looks terrific.
He's doing a great job in this offense so far.
Hand off here to Jackson, able to find the edge. Jackson taking on tacklers, lunges into the end zone for the Chargers touchdown.
That was a great run by Justin Jackson.
Well, it's surprising at the end, right around the 2-yard line. Watch the power he displays. Breaks that tackle in the backfield, lowers his shoulder there, and just annihilates a defensive back, Dietrich Nichols.
I would say that's what Anthony Lynn wants to see from his running backs. What a run by Justin Jackson. Wow.
I think they're going to put that on Justin Jackson's early highlight reel tape. What a physical run by Jackson, who of course made his bones in the Big Ten, one of the most physical conferences in college football. Finished as Northwestern's all-time leading rusher there, over 6,000 yards running. And LT mentioned it earlier, as you see Phillip Rivers in street clothes really got his season going late in the year last year. And what a compliment he could potentially be as their #2 running back. Point after by Michael Badgley is good. And what a start for this Chargers offense. That turnover aside, they have marched up and down the field as they score their first points of the night here in Glendale. Thank Derwin James for that awesome guided tour. And look at our Spectrum Mobile lightning fast facts. Boy, what a scene that is going to be. A football palace at Hollywood Park under construction. They are on schedule. Expected to seat around 70,000 people, expandable to 100,000. It will be the site of Super Bowl 56, gentlemen, in February of 2022. Derwin James getting a little breather. We'll see if his night will continue here. As Pharaoh Cooper is going to play it out of his own end zone. Cooper across the 15, gets to the 20-yard line, a return of 24 yards. Well, the Los Angeles Chargers regular season kicks off September the 8th against Andrew Luck and the Indianapolis Colts at Rocket Field at Dignity Health Sports Park. Only a limited number of tickets remain. Visit Chargers.com today and score yours. We'll get our first quarterback change of the night as Kyler Murray's night ends after one offensive possession. Murray 7 of 7, 49 yards. His night is over, and he gives way now to Brett Hundley, the former UCLA Bruin. And he will hand off here to Chase Edmonds, the former Fordham star out of New York City. That's a pickup of 1. Guys, what did you make of our first glimpse of Kyler Murray as we get ready here to see some of Brett Hundley?
Well, I thought Kyler was very sharp in his first opportunity to take the field. You know, it's obvious that he knows the offense very well. He got the ball out of his hands and really showed that he can make a lot of the throws that you're expected to make in the National Football League.
Yeah, he looked cool. He looked confident. And as you said, the ability to get the ball out quick and his escapability, there's no mistaking either.
Hundley slinging it outside the seams, finds Trent Sherfield with his 3rd catch of the night. A pickup of a half dozen yards. The quarterback change, of course, Kyler Murray taken with the #1 overall pick, trying to replace Josh Rosen, who of course has moved on here. And that's what this season all is about for the Arizona Cardinals. Can they take that step at the quarterback position And a good first step for the rookie Kyler Murray. Here's Edmonds. Hundley, I beg your pardon, on 3rd and 4. We get a penalty marker thrown here. Sherfield, the intended receiver.
Before the pass was thrown, holding, defense number 31. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
It's Adrian Phillips.
And this penalty on Phillips when he's guarding the slot receiver right about here, not on the play up here. That's a good call as he reaches out and holds the receiver with his left arm.
After 5 yards, you really have to let the receiver go.
Well, Phillips was so good last year. Had a career season in his 4th year in the league, All-Pro, Pro Bowl selection. Signed his contract extension in the offseason. Another one of these undrafted players who has become elite at his position for the Chargers in this Gus Bradley coach defense.
And what a safety tandem with Derwin James now coming into his year after being Pro Bowl player in his rookie year out of Florida State.
DB coach Ron Miles has said that Phillips is the walking definition of preparation as Hundley is hit on a release. And that pass falls incomplete. Once again, looking in the direction of Sherfield.
Uchenna Nwosu was on the pressure right there. And I'm sure Gus Bradley loves to see that from Nwosu, he splashed a little bit last year. I expect him to come on strong and possibly even earn a starting job.
Taking the place of Melvin Ingram and doing a pretty good imitation of Ingram, putting the quarterback on his backside.
Hard snap count. Nwosu jump could be a free play for Hundley and the Cardinals. High pass. It is caught. Ricky Seals-Jones climbing the ladder. Nicely done by Hundley as Nwosu coming across early. It's a 22-yard hookup and an Arizona first down.
Offside. Defense number 42. That penalty's declined. The play results in a first down.
Ricky Seals-Jones, 6'5", and again that big target that LT was talking about earlier, the catch radius. He goes up high to make this catch. Smart play by Hundley. Saw Nwosu jump in the neutral zone, went along with the play and picked up a big play.
This is T.J. Logan on his first take. It's a pickup of 4 yards. Well, we saw Gus Bradley, this Chargers defense last year, finished 9th in the NFL in yards allowed. And you consider the injuries, guys, that they had to contend with. The linebackers really decimated. Joey Bosa, of course, missed the first 9 games of the season with that foot injury. They were able to overcome those things. Lost Kaiser White first quarter of the season to really become one of the elite defenses in the NFL. As Hundley thrown across his body, it's batted down. Well played. We get a marker thrown in the secondary here. Denzel Perryman applying the pressure on Hundley as we await the call from the officials.
Before the pass was thrown, holding, defense number 39. 5-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Arian Springs, the rookie out of Oregon. Again, not where the ball was thrown, but before the ball was thrown. Right here is the hold out of the slot. And this is a good knockdown here by Faison, as he did not interfere on that pass.
So the penalty moves the ball up to the 35 of the Chargers. Fresh set of downs. Pass intended for Logan is incomplete. Guys, biggest question marks for you with this Chargers defense?
Well, we talked about the linebackers, and a lot of emphasis obviously is put on that position, but you got to stay healthy. And last year I thought the Chargers did a great job. Gus Bradley, one of the sharpest defense coordinators in the league, and having a player like Derwin James and his versatility, and Desmond King, his ability to rush the passer. They were playing with 6 defensive backs a lot of the season last year at the end of the year.
I think turnovers is an area where they can improve. They were at the bottom of the league in causing turnovers. Also interceptions. So it's a good play right there by Faison. But another area is the interior defensive line, where they drafted a first-round pick in Jerry Tillery, but also they have Justin Jones, who they drafted in the 3rd round last year. You know, those two guys have to be vital pieces in that interior part of the defensive line.
Tillery not up tonight, still not ready to come back from the offseason shoulder surgery. 28th overall pick. Hopefully you're going to see him a little bit later in the preseason. So 3rd and 10 for Arizona. With just over 10 minutes left to play here before halftime in Glendale. Hundley on the run. Barker throwing behind the play. He throws across his body again, and this one falls incomplete as he throws it towards the end zone.
Looks like holding on the play.
Yeah, they're going to get left tackle Reese Odiambo as Hundley escaped the pocket. Odiambo just reached out and grabbed Nwosu.
Holding. Offense number 63. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
So Lynn is going to take the penalty here as they will push them back. We'll see where the officials mark the football. This will likely push them out of field goal range. They will mark it back at the 45 of Los Angeles. And it will be a 3rd and 20 coming up.
Really a nice move here by Nwosu as he splits the blockers here, forces Hundley out of the pocket.
I tell you, Dan, he has that inside move down.
Full start. Offense, the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, after a lightning quick first quarter, we have bogged down with a whole bunch of penalties. Quarter.
Okay, and this is one you don't often see, a false start penalty against the quarterback.
I don't see it.
Wow.
I didn't see anything from that vantage point.
You can clap for the ball. That's part of football now for a quarterback. It should have been called there. That's exactly what we did on the previous play.
Logan this time is the recipient. You ever get called for a false start penalty?
I don't remember. That was so long ago. Are you kidding?
A pickup of 5, not enough, as they are well short of the 1st down. And Arizona will punt. Nice to see Denzel Perriman back in a Chargers uniform. There was a lot of talk about maybe his time with the team coming to an end last year after that season-ending injury towards the middle of the season in the middle of November. It's an emotional video that was put out the day that he signed his contract, welcoming him back to the team. There's that fair catch by Ortega. Scott, 37-yard punt as we play early stages 2nd quarter. 7-0 Chargers on ABC 7. Well, Chargers fans, on November the 18th, you can help cheer on the Bolts in Mexico City when they take on the Kansas City Chiefs in the electric, world-famous Estadio Azteca. You can let the team help plan your trip by visiting Chargers.com. What a great experience that will be for the Bolts and their fans as we welcome you back to Glendale State Farm Stadium. Preseason opener tonight. Chargers up 7-0 over the Arizona Cardinals. Spiro Ditas, LaDainian Tomlinson, Dan Fouts, Haley Elwood. As we get a quarterback change for the Chargers. Cardale Jones under center. As Tyrod Taylor with a successful preseason debut as a member of the Bolts. This is Justin Jackson. He's trying to find some daylight on the edge. A pickup of 5 yards. As we go downstairs, Haley Elwood standing by with one of the newest members of that Chargers defense.
All right, thanks, guys. Thomas Davis, first time, 14 seasons. You're wearing a new logo. You got a new uniform. I mean, we know you look good in blue, but why the Chargers?
You know, I feel like this is a great place for me to be. As a football player, you know, when you come into this league, you want to win the Super Bowl. And I feel like this team presented their best possibility of coming in and winning the Super Bowl. When you look at this roster, when you look at this coaching staff, it was a no-brainer for me.
You've talked about how special this group is, but now that you've been here for a few months, what have you seen from them?
you know, it just reassured everything that I thought and I believed about this football team. You know, it's a great group of guys, a ton of hard workers, and I feel like the coaching staff do a really good job of putting players in position to make plays. So definitely excited to be here.
Anthony Lynn had one of my favorite quotes about you. He said, you're 36, but you're running around out there like a 13-year-old. We saw you go stride for stride with Cooper Kupp against the Rams, but where does that drive continue to come from?
You know, a few years back in my career, you know, I had 3 ACL injuries back-to-back, and, you know, for me, ever since that point, I never take a single day of stepping on the field for granted. You know, I know how precious it is for us as players, and I know, you know, how easily it can be taken away, so I never take it for granted. Every time I'm out there, I'm giving my all.
We're excited to have you. Thank you, Thomas.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
All right, Haley, nicely done. I'm not sure, guys, there's been a more resilient player in the history of the league than that guy. The 3 ACL injuries in successive years. Everyone thought his career was over. All-time franchise leader in tackles for Carolina. What an addition he could be for this defense.
3 ACL tears in 23 months.
Unbelievable.
Just short of 2 years, and he still can run with the best of them.
It's so inspiring, a guy like Thomas Davis Sr. I just love watching him play, the heart that he plays with, the passion. He will inspire this defensive group and the Chargers as a whole.
And you listen to some of the other guys talk, Denzel Perryman, the impact that Davis could have on that linebacker room and the entire defense. Just not sure you can put a value on that as Davis watches on from that sideline.
Well, you think about Spiro, all the young players at the linebacker position that they do have, Kazir White, you know, Uchenna Nwosu, and even Denzel Perryman is still a fairly young player. So he can rub off on all of those guys.
Davis, 3-time Pro Bowler, former Walter Payton Man of the Year award. That's a prestigious honor for everything he did off the field in Charlotte during his 14 years with the Panthers. It's going to be fun to watch him in a Chargers uniform this season.
He was drafted in the first round by the Carolina Panthers as a strong safety.
That's right. So a lot of people forget.
He had to make the transition to linebacker, gain weight. He did all that and didn't lose any speed.
And you can see him on the sideline coaching up some of the younger guys right now.
He's, by the way, the only player drafted in that 05 draft who's still playing in league. Cardale Jones on a handoff on 3rd and 2. Detrez Newsome, he didn't get it. Nicely done by the interior of that Arizona defense. And we'll see what Anthony Lynn wants to do here on 4th down.
Yeah, one final thing on Davis, you talked about, you know, what he's done, and you know, you think about he's the only guy playing in the NFL from that year. He's playing a linebacker position.
Yeah.
He's making tackles. He's not a punter. Or, I'm sorry about the punter. But, you know, a lot of punters play a long time.
All due respect to Ty Long, there's a lot of collisions in that position. Just an incredible story that Thomas Davis has been over the years. Well, here's Ty Long. He's battling for that starting punter job for the Chargers. As the Bolts moving on from Drew Kaiser. And so far, Ty Long is the first man up. This is a 51-yard punt here. But a penalty marker thrown all the way back at around the Chargers' 35-yard line.
And Coach Anthony Lynn said that Ty has been kicking the crap out the ball.
Excuse me?
In training camp. I don't know if he used that exact word.
Well, you did.
Anthony talking about it with the officials.
Holding. Kicking team number 49. That 10-yard penalty will be added to the end of the play. First down, Arizona. Timeout.
It's Drew Tranquil, the man penalized for the Chargers. Under 6 to play before halftime. Chargers 2019 draft class, of course, spearheaded by General Manager Tom Telesco. Jerry Tillery, the 28th overall pick, not quite ready to make his preseason debut. Also, same could be said for Nasir Adderley, the 60th overall pick. But 5 of their 7 draft picks, guys, on defensive players. Clearly a focal point for Telesco and his staff in that draft.
Well, you know that that's an area where they needed to add depth on the team. Offensively, they have a lot of depth on that side of the ball. It's the defensive side of the ball where you want to get more depth. And Gus Bradley is accustomed to rolling in different guys on defense and keeping those guys fresh.
This is T.J. Logan. Able to cross the 30-yard line. Late flag thrown behind the play as a pickup of 4 by Logan.
Yeah, they're going to get Reese Odiambo again.
Offense number 63, 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Well, Chargers fans, you can stay up to date with all things Chargers, including behind-the-scenes content, the latest player news, and insider access at Chargers.com. Nice to have you with us. Plenty of Bolts fans in the house here in Glendale. Spiro Ditas, LaDainian Tomlinson, the great Dan Fouts. A couple of Hall of Famers upstairs, and our Hall of Famer down on the field, Haley Elwood, patrolling the sidelines for us. Our producer, Mark Titleman, and our director, Mike Hassan. Nice to have you with us here on ABC 7. 1st and 20 after the penalty. And that pass is caught. That's Keyshawn Johnson with a pickup of 6. Brandon Faison on the tackle for the Chargers. You know, we mentioned some of the battles guys in training camp. The free safety spot was up for grabs at the start. It appears like Rayshawn Jenkins is going to be the guy, but you know, that other starting cornerback spot opposite Casey Hayward is open. No Trevor Williams tonight. Got banged up in practice a couple of days ago, but it's between him and the incumbent from last year, Michael Davis, as they track down Hundley on a play. Isaac Rochelle able to get to him from the back.
Holding. Offense number 79. That penalty's declined. 3rd down.
Boy, what a play, Dan, by Isaac Rochelle.
Yeah, Rochelle had 5 sacks last year in a backup role. He's going to come from the right side of the screen.
There's a lot to like about Isaac Rochelle. He's a taller guy, but has, as you can see, he can bend the corner, has some dip to him, uses his hands very well.
Closing speed.
Rochelle had some big moments last year. Of course, you have to go back to that game-sealing interception over San Francisco in Week 4 early in the season. Guy who has gone from being a 7th-round pick to a key piece in Gus Bradley's defense. Nice drive that time by the Chargers defense as they're able to get off the field. Second punter for Arizona is Ryan Winslow, who will boot it away from around his own 10. Well, this one's starting to look like a preseason game now. A lot of flags for Arizona.
Offense number 38. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
So, Spiro, did you like the movie? Rochelle?
Fantastic. Are you kidding me?
I walked out.
One of my all-time favorites.
You walked out.
Ben has very high standards. 4th and 22. Winslow on a 2nd attempt. Artavis Scott finally able to play a punt tonight. It's out by the 45-yard line, forced out of bounds after a return of 14. Another flag thrown.
That's the first preseason game.
Flag thrown on the Chargers side of the field at around the 38-yard line.
You see the official with his hat off. That means one of the gunners went out of bounds. They marked that with a hat. And both officials on both sides of the field. There are flags on both sides. You see both of these officials do not have their hats on. And obviously someone ran out of bounds, either did not come back in properly or quickly enough. This is quite the discussion for the first preseason game, LT.
Yes, it is.
Well,
it's preseason for the officials, too. Jinx.
You know, these are crews who are working together for the first time, trying to work through the kinks and the rust. And so their conversation continues. Now, Dan mentioned a Arizona special teamer going out of bounds and then coming in bottom of your picture and then the top of your screen as well.
Yeah.
Well, you can run out of bounds, but you have to get back.
There were 4 fouls by the receiving team on the play. During the kick, holding, number 82, that penalty's declined. Holding, number 36, that penalty's declined. During the return, holding, number 38, that penalty is also declined. During the kick, unsportsmanlike conduct, return team for blocking out of bounds. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the end of the kick. The number was 82. It's first down. Timeout.
Gentlemen, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that is an NFL record. I've never seen that. 4 fouls on one play. It's preseason football, ladies and gentlemen. 7-0 Chargers. LA Stadium at Hollywood Park is going to be a global sports and entertainment destination and the future home of your LA Chargers. Home games will feature an unparalleled fan experience. Reserve your seats today by visiting Chargers.com.
You know, in life there's sometimes no justice, but this is justice right here. Justice Liggins with the penalty blocking out of bounds. Then it comes in and gets a little bit of a hold there. 4 penalties, 1 play. NFL record preseason.
Late stages, second quarter. That pass from Jones is complete. Up the sideline comes the big tight end, Andrew Vollert. A pickup of 24 yards, guys. Nicely done here by Cardale Jones.
Yeah, he comes out of the backfield, and it's really a good throw. The defender going for the ball. If he picks it off, he scores, but the ball is perfectly placed. And Vollert with a big play.
Well, this is really Cardale Jones' chance to finally make this team and perhaps step up into the depth chart. Chargers, of course, using that 5th-round pick on Easton Stick, who you have to think is going to get some extra looks in the preseason. But Jones has to be feeling the heat, guys. Has to have a good preseason.
Yeah, and Cardale, you know, he's been a part of this team now for a couple of years and has been a part of this offense, so he knows it very well. He just has to be a little bit more consistent. And as you mentioned, they drafted Easton Stick to battle with Cardale for the 3rd quarterback spot. We'll see how it plays out, but tonight is just the beginning.
Jones is buried here for the sack. Nowhere to go initially down the field as he is dumped for a sack. A loss of 9. Pete Robertson able to get there for the Cardinals.
Yeah, big mistake by Jones. Instead of stepping up into the pocket, he tries to spin out, and he will run right into a sack.
This is the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes.
And that takes us to the 2-minute warning here in Glendale. Jones and the Chargers on the field, up 7 when we come back. Some good stuff coming up on the Southern California Chevy Dealers halftime show. Look at backstage Chargers. We'll get Dan and LT's thoughts on the first half. Get you some first half stats. All to come. It's the Chevy All-Star Open House. Visit your Southern California Chevrolet dealer today and open the door to a brand new Chevy. You can learn more at SoCalChevy.com. 2-minute warning as Cardale Jones works from the gun here. Chargers ball from their own 36 on 3rd and 16. Jones throwing it over the middle, and he completes. This is Troy Pope. First touch for him tonight. It's a pickup of 10, well short of the first down.
Timeout. Arizona. Their first of the half.
Arizona's going to stop the clock here. Put their offense in a position to get their first points. We will step aside meantime for a quick break. Chargers in front of the Cardinals, 7-0. We're talking about the new football stadium being built at Hollywood Park in Inglewood, the future home of the Los Angeles Chargers, slated to open in 2020. Everyone's talking about it. Gentlemen, the anticipation continues. It will be, without a doubt, the crown jewel of NFL stadiums.
I love the fact that it's going to have an open-air feeling. Sunshine will be able to shine through that the tarp or whatever they want to call it, kind of a canopy effect there. It'd be a very comfortable environment for the fans to watch the Chargers.
Another point that's unique about the stadium is it sits 100 feet down from street level.
Low profile.
Wow, unbelievable.
We've seen some new stadiums open around the NFL. There will be nothing quite like what they are building at Hollywood Park, and we can't wait to be there in person. As that opening date fast approaches, punt right at the goal line. Chargers special teams unable to keep it out of the end zone. So it is ruled a touchback. And the Cardinals will have the football when we come back. Chargers supporters in the house tonight. Final $1:45 of this opening half. So good to have LaDainian Tomlinson and the Hall of Famer Dan Fouts. Couple of Hall of Famers up here in the booth, guys. Early impressions, what have you seen so far in this first half?
I really was impressed with Tyrod Taylor. He had an outstanding first quarter. That first quarter just flew by because he didn't throw any incompletions and we didn't have hardly any penalties.
And Justin Jackson showed some skills, vision, power, acceleration, all the things that you want to see in a young running back.
Didn't have a lot of penalties, and then the second quarter started.
Well, then the officials got involved, and that's always a bad thing. But that's part of preseason. Guys they're hyped up and they're very anxious to make an impression. Unfortunately, some of them make the wrong impression by creating penalties.
Brett Hundley complete here out across the 30-yard line. It's a pickup of about 5 yards. That's Farrell Cooper on the catch as Hundley works him through their 2-minute offense here. And it looks like Cliff Kingsbury will take a timeout. They will be down to their final timeout here with 1:18 left to play. These are the first 4 games on the docket, regular season games for the Chargers, and that is going to be an interesting start to the season, guys. Week 1, September the 8th against Andrew Luck in Indianapolis.
Yeah, those first 3 games going against some top quarterbacks, Andrew Luck, Matthew Stafford, and John Watson with the Texans. The Texans and that AFC South should be something to keep your eye on this year.
First 2 games at home against the AFC South. Both really good teams.
The Colts a team certainly on the rise. There are some concerns with Andrew Luck and that calf injury as he continues to be held out of practice. There's Phillip Rivers. No injuries there, just given the night off as they are as precautious as they can possibly be with their 37-year-old quarterback. But guys, I go back to the left tackle position. Again, Phillips 38, 37 years old, year 16 in the league. You want to be solidified at that left tackle position, and until Russell Okung is ready to come back, that's a big question mark that kind of looms over this offense. And Anthony Lynn, Hundley's pass over the middle is caught. This will be a first down play and more. As Farrell Cooper on the catch, it's a pickup of 19 yards. Dan, how concerned are you, if you're a Chargers fan, about that left tackle spot?
Well, if it wasn't for Phillip Rivers, I mean, he's Mr. Iron Man. Tremendous competitor, tough as nails, strong, accurate. But at some point, age will catch up to you. And you would just really, for his peace of mind more than maybe anything, to have a solid blindside blocker.
And a couple of reasons to be concerned about it too. And when you look at the pass rushers in the AFC West, Denver Broncos, Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, guys in Kansas City, Frank Clark. So these are very dominant pass rushers that you're going to need a good left tackle.
Nice little run by Hundley there, a pickup of 14 yards. There's that clock running, under 50 seconds left before halftime. Pass caught there by Damier Byrd. Multiple catches for Byrd tonight.
Timeout, Arizona.
As Arizona will take its final timeout. This is the depth at the tackle position. They did, of course, take Trey Pipkins early in the draft. But, after Okung, there's not a lot of guys that have experience at that position as the questions will continue.
That's really the key, is especially as LT was pointing out, that the pass rushers, the best pass rusher is the guy that's going to be going against your left tackle.
Yes.
It's always predominantly a right-handed quarterback league, few left-handers out there, but the blind side coming from that around that left tackle.
Well, Pipkins, the kid that they took with their 3rd-round pick out of Sioux Falls. They like his potential, but certainly not ready yet.
And you wonder about the competition that he's faced playing at Sioux Falls.
Well, there's Trent Scott. They're going to start tonight at left tackle. He's the guy who's going to get the first crack. He started the game last year in Week 5 when Okung was injured against Oakland. And he's going to have to be the guy as Darrell Daniels, the backup tight end, makes the 9-yard catch.
able to get out of bounds. A first down Arizona play with 35 seconds left. And Hundley running a pretty impressive 2-minute drill.
Well, this is the part of the game that really defines winning and losing games, either at the end of halves or the end of games. 2 minutes sometimes comes down to winning games, sometimes comes down to 2 minutes, where a team has to drive the length of the field, maybe score a touchdown or kick a field goal, and defenses have to be able to stop them at that point.
Hundley on 1st and 10, taking a shot to the end zone. Was he in? Yes, he was. Touchdown Cardinals. Trent Sherfield with the over-the-shoulder catch for the 22-yard Arizona touchdown.
Yeah, beautiful throw by Hundley. The question is, were his feet down as he gained possession of the ball, and did he have possession throughout the catch? Let's take a look at his feet first as Hundley celebrates on the sideline. Watch his feet. Left foot down, right foot toe tap. He has possession as he gets behind Jeff Richards. Touchdown Cardinals.
That is what you call toe drag swag.
Can't do it much better than that. Sherfield has been the featured receiver in this first half. 4 catches, 44 yards, and a 22-yard touchdown reception over the shoulder on a beautifully thrown ball by Brett Hundley.
Tremendous job by Hundley throughout that drive. Let's check out Jeff Richards and his bump and run technique on Sherfield. Sherfield with a lot of speed. The key, getting off the bump and run. A little jab step to the inside, and then he just turns on the jets and outruns Richards to the corner. Keeps his eyes on the ball and his feet on the ground.
And for you young receivers out there, Sherfield did a great job of stacking his body on top of the cornerback there to give his quarterback a lot of room to throw that football. Great job by a young receiver there.
So the Cardinals go 8 plays, 80 yards, and a very impressively run 2-minute drive in 1:16 seconds off the clock. Chargers do have all 3 timeouts, but something tells me they're going to want to get out of here with 29 seconds left in the second quarter. Well, Chargers fans, do you have your Chargers gear ready for the regular season? Show your Bolts pride and get authentic team merchandise, including jerseys, hats, t-shirts, and so much more at the Pro Shop. You can find them at chargers.com. Young Chargers fan ready to go, staying up a little late tonight past his bedtime. And so much excitement around this Chargers team. 12 wins a year ago, really of a renaissance year for this franchise.
That was Captain Insano, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Anthony Lynn and his coaching staff appreciate the support here in Glendale as the Chargers play their preseason debut. Cardale Jones nowhere to go down the field in the direction of Troymaine Pope, and it will be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, screens are really tough to pull off in these situations because the defensive linemen are really not rushing. They're playing prevent defense at this point. It's tough to get a screen off.
Jones will work from the gun here on 2nd and 10 from the Chargers 25. Jones under pressure, able to escape initially, escapes again. Jones trying to extend the play, nowhere to go, and wisely just falls to the turf. It's a loss of 5 on the play, and that could very well take us to the end of the half. So the Chargers able to get into the end zone first, but Arizona able to strike back latter stages of this first half with the Trent Sherfield touchdown catch. So halftime here in Glendale, the Chargers and the Cardinals tied at 7. Between the Los Angeles Chargers and the Cardinals, all tied at 7. Moments ago, Haley Elwood, able to catch up with Anthony Lynn.
All right, Coach, you talked about execution all week. What did you see in that first half?
You saw some good execution early. We didn't finish the first drive, fumbling the ball on the 2-yard line. That hurt. But the offense bounced back. They had a nice drive. And then you look at the other side of the ball defensively. There are guys making plays, but we need to make more. That's for sure. And we talked about it at halftime. We came here to win this game. We don't care who's on the field. Guys are playing hard, and we'll see who executes the best in the second half.
And then plan for quarterbacks in the second half.
Well, Cardell will start out here in the third quarter, and then you'll see Easton come in. He'll finish the third and maybe start the fourth.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Sure.
All right, Haley, nicely done. Our first half stats. Some good work from that Chargers running game with the Austin Eckler lost fumble notwithstanding.
Yeah, I think Anthony Lynn hit it right on the head there, because this is really perfect balance. And then you look at the other side on defense, holding the Cardinals just 31 yards rushing. He's got to be happy with his offense and his rush defense as well.
You talk about making more plays as he did at halftime. I think he's speaking to the secondary of the Los Angeles Chargers. They do need to make more plays on the ball back there. We'll see if they can get it done.
Chargers fans excited to get their first look at the 5th-round pick, Easton Stick. We'll see him likely for a good majority of that fourth quarter. No Phillip Rivers tonight, given the night off to begin the preseason, and Anthony Lynn hinting that he will be giving his starters a lot of downtime in the preseason as they will try to play it cautious. A Chargers team that a lot of the experts are talking about as a Super Bowl contender, trying to take that next step after their 12-win campaign last season.
Well, at this point in Phillip Rivers' career, how much do you need to see him in preseason?
None. Absolutely. It is a long season, and injuries play a big part of it. But as the season goes on and you get into November and December, guys are, they're beat up, number one. And that's when more injuries occur and more devastating type of injuries. So resting your older players, resting your star players in the preseason when it doesn't matter and you have confidence that they can go out on the field and get the job done is a smart move by the organization.
Yeah, Lynn talked about 3 teams in particular last year that really limited their starters during the preseason. So Drew Anderson is the new quarterback for Arizona. He talked about Houston, Indianapolis, and the Rams right across town. And all 3 of those teams really peaked towards the end of the season, and Lynn felt like how they handled the preseason went a long way in that. There's Drew Anderson. Our first look at the Murray State product tonight. 3rd different quarterback. We have already seen the #1 overall pick, Kyler Murray, who was impressive in his preseason debut to get this night started. Anderson from the shotgun on 2nd and 12. That pass is incomplete. Over the middle, off the hands of Hakeem Butler. And a late penalty marker thrown.
Going to be holding again against the Chargers in the secondary.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense number 35. 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
That's Darius Pickett trying to make this Chargers defense on the back end of the roster.
Face mask grab right there, and start the second half as we ended the first half with a lot of penalties.
First and 10 run. DJ Foster is able to pick up a yard. A lot of the key regulars and defensive starters given the night off. There's Joey Bosa. Of course, that foot injury early in camp last year costing him the first 9 games of the season. He says he couldn't watch tape of himself from last year, guys. He says he just wasn't himself on film. Didn't have the power that he had early in his NFL career. But he looks to be in terrific shape and gearing himself up for the regular season. On 2nd and 9, Anderson's pass is caught. That's a pickup of about 5 yards on the play by Hakeem Butler.
Now the big question, with Bosa's injury last year, it really set them back. They gave up a lot of yards. too many yards and didn't get as many sacks, only 34 on the year. And when you have Melvin Ingram on one side with 42 career sacks, it's a tremendous 1-2 punch. And we've seen some good pass rushing here in the first half from Nwosu and Peace. A lot of depth for Gus Bradley.
Anderson on 3rd and 3. He's under pressure. Nwosu giving chase from the back. And Anderson's pass, that is caught on the sidelines. And now the officials say the receiver was incomplete.
I really believe that one of the things that will help this defense is depth. If they can get more guys.
Offense number 79. That penalty's declined. It's 4th down.
If they can get more guys to rotate in on the defensive line, it will keep Melvin Ingram, and Joey Bosa rejuvenated and more healthy, and throughout the game in the 4th quarter when they really need those guys to come off the ball, they will have the energy and the stamina to do it.
The Chargers looking for some help with that interior defensive pass rush to complement the 2 studs that they have, those bookend rushers in Bosa and Ingram on the outside. This is Troy Pope. Minimal return on the punt. 50-yard punt and a return of 8 by Pope as we play early 3rd quarter here in Glendale, all tied at 7. Well, think you have a 99 Madden rating? Just come out to the Chargers training camp on Saturday, August the 10th for the first ever Madden fan rating combine. Official Madden ratings adjusters will be on site as you run through the drills to get your real rating. The event is free. You can register at Chargers.com to be a part of this incredible, one-of-a-kind fan experience.
Madden rating, huh? Mine wasn't too good because I actually had to play against John Madden, the great Hall of Fame coach of the Raiders.
And it's going to be a lot of fun as Cardale Jones stays under center. And the guys, Cardale Jones trying to earn a spot. Last year unable to beat out Geno Smith for the backup job. He's back, and there could be some feeling that this could be his last chance to really make a dent on this roster. Of course, that incredible story, 2014 as an Ohio State Buckeye, started the year as their number 3 quarterback, ended it as the starter, leading them to a national championship. A little brief cup of coffee with the Buffalo Bills under Anthony Lynn. And now can he earn a spot as at least their number 3 quarterback? But anytime you use a 5th-round pick, guys, to take a guy like an Easton Stick who's going to get an extended look, Jones has to feel like he's starting to feel the heat.
You got a feeling that the Chargers are hoping to catch, lightning in a bottle, if you will. Easton Stick from North Dakota State, where a guy by the name of Carson Wentz excelled.
There's Tyrod Taylor, who got the start tonight in the absence of Phillip Rivers. There's Easton Stick, the 5th-round pick.
He's ready. He's got his chin strap buckled and everything. Put me in, coach.
49-3 record as a collegiate, all-time record for wins by a college starter in FCS history. On 3rd and 3, Chargers able to get the first down. They'll move the sticks. And a good-looking run by Troymaine Pope.
Troymaine Pope hit it up in the line of scrimmage pretty aggressively, put his foot in the ground and got up in there for a nice first down. That's what Anthony Lynn wants to see from his running backs.
So Cardale Jones, former 4th-round pick of the Buffalo Bills. He played under Anthony Lynn, offensive coordinator, before taking over as the interim head coach that final game of the 2016 season. Pope again here for a brief run of 1. And it will be 2nd down coming up. And guys, everyone talks about the preseason, meaningless football. It's not meaningless for the guys who are on the field right now. A lot of these guys playing for their professional lives. Anthony Lynn certainly knows what that's like. A guy who was a grinder early on in his NFL career.
You look at a guy like Detrez Newsome, who's in the backfield right now. He made his name last year during preseason and made this team because of his performance in preseason. And really last year became one of the core special team guys because of the things that he did in preseason. So a lot of these guys are fighting for a job.
Well, you go back a couple of preseasons ago, and Austin Eckler did basically the same thing. He really came out of nowhere, got drafted out of Western State, and impressed the coaches enough, just as Newsome did last year.
Well, Cardale wants to impress these coaches. Let's see what he can do here on 3rd and 8 from their own 39. Play whistle dead. Looks like the Chargers were able to get the timeout with the play clock winding down.
Los Angeles, their first 30-second timeout.
So Cardale will walk over to his offensive coordinator, Ken Wisenhunt, as Anthony Lynn looks on from that Chargers sideline. Well, first of 4 preseason games. Next week, national game against Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. And then we will have the Chargers and the Seahawks, and then in San Francisco down at Santa Clara. So the Chargers will wrap up the preseason against the 49ers. So here's Jones. They re-rack it on 3rd and 8. Jones from the gun from just inside his own 30. Jones nowhere to throw with it. That football comes loose. No whistle yet. It's Pete Robertson into the end zone for the touchdown. There is a flag back at the Chargers 25. We'll see what the officials say here. Nowhere for Cardale Jones to go with it down the field, trying to make something happen with his legs. And now we'll see if this fumble recovery for a touchdown stands for the Cardinals.
Trying to see if his left knee is down. Check out the fumble before the call on the penalty. But watch his left knee and watch the ball if he can at the same time.
The ruling on the field is that the quarterback fumbled the ball. It was recovered by Arizona and returned for a touchdown. In the process of the return, unsportsmanlike conduct on Los Angeles Chargers, number 47, for being on the field with the football. This foul will be enforced on the kickoff. The score counts.
Great job, again, of a linebacker, Vontarius Dora, stripping the ball from Cardale Jones. Really close to that left knee being down before the ball got out.
The previous play is under review.
And I think that's what we're talking about now. They're going to take a look at it in the replay booth, which is right next door. We could cheat a little on this one.
We'll try to eavesdrop during the commercial break. Well, here's the Cardale Jones fumble, still under review. The call in the field was a fumble and a recovery for a touchdown for Arizona. Dan, this could be coming back.
I believe it is. Vontarius Dora doing a little exploring, trying to steal that ball, but the left knee down before it's totally out of the possession of Cardale Jones. So this Robertson touchdown will come off the board.
Dan, the only thing between you and the instant replay booth is a very thin pane of glass. That had to be exhilarating for you.
Well, sometimes you got to take advantage of your environment.
Chargers punt team has already come onto the field, so it looks like this one will be reversed.
And Cardale Jones will be relieved of this call if it is indeed down.
It's a preseason game, so the decision's not made in New York. It's made right next door.
The quarterback's knee was down before the ball came loose. It'll be 4th down. The unsportsmanlike conduct against number 47 of Los Angeles is still enforced. It'll be 4th down and 19 yards. Please reset the game clock to 9:06. 4th down and 19 from the 28-yard line.
Well, why would the penalty be enforced? Because if his knee's down, the play is
Play is
over.
over.
So there's no penalty. There should be no penalty against the Chargers here.
Well, that could be one that the officials will want back after this one is over. That is the preseason for everyone, as we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, but you still like to catch them when they make a mistake, don't you?
Dan, nicely done. You can't get anything past here. Dan is in regular season form. As Tyler Newsome battling Ty Long for that starting punt job for the Chargers. Good looking leg on that punt. And TJ Logan is buried inside that Arizona 30-yard line. It's a 45-yard punt and a return of 4. We mentioned the first 4 games at the top. Let's delve a little bit deeper into that regular season schedule. This is through week 8. Got some tough games early on that schedule. Houston is an improved team. Of course, they just acquired Duke Johnson earlier today to bolster that backfield position. Injured Charger is Andrew Vollert. Signed just a couple of weeks ago as they take a look at that right leg with the Chargers doctors onto the field. Regular season, whenever. Andrew Vollert trying to earn one of the backup tight end positions. A guy signed a free agent deal one day after he was waived by Cincinnati in early May. Last season played as an undrafted free agent here in Arizona with the Cardinals. Failed to make the team out of training camp, and right now you can just hope for the best as they take a look at that right leg on that Chargers sideline. 5-yard pickup here by Logan. And the obvious concern, guys, on that Charger sideline.
Yeah, and Andrew Vollert, if you remember, had a nice catch and run up the left sideline right before the end of the first half. Really showed his speed and catching ability. I hope that young man is okay.
So 2nd and 5 for Arizona. This game tied at 7. As we come up on the 8-minute mark, nicely thrown on that play by Drew Anderson. The comebacker to Keyshawn Johnson. It's a 25-yard pass play. And Dan, you can't do it much better than that on that back shoulder throw.
Yeah, Johnson with the fade route. Lemon's got good position, but never sees the ball. Perfect throw by Anderson, and really shows you how practice, rookie Anderson throwing to Johnson. And the hard work that they put in, a couple of rookies making it happen.
And that was a nice release by Keyshawn Johnson.
Keyshawn spelled K-E-E-S-E-A-N.
And
He's had a nice little camp, the 6th-round pick out of Fresno State.
He hasn't quite learned the phrase, throw me the damn ball.
Exactly.
That's what the other Keyshawn used to say, right? Didn't he write a book that said that, right?
Yes, he did.
Bestseller, wasn't it?
He's going to learn that really quick playing receiver. He continues to play at that level.
All the
good start for that rookie.
Eventually say that.
There's TJ Logan up the middle on a minimal pickup of a couple of yards.
I'm wondering, Dan, did Kellen Winslow ever say that to you during the game?
You know, most of the time, Kellen or Wes or Charlie or JJ, they said, don't force it, Dan. But I said, well, don't you want to be in the highlights? Making the one-handed catches? Great teammates, great players, unselfish players, all of them.
I enjoyed my time with Charlie Jordan as he was a coach for the Chargers when I played.
Charlie was a coach for us when I played with him. He was that good.
Now pass incomplete as Anderson looking back in the direction of Keyshawn Johnson. Yeah, and I just can't believe that you guys used to play 6 preseason games.
Wow. Well, you know, we had squads that are like 120 people, though. I mean, there was like 6 quarterbacks in camp, and so you didn't play every game, thank goodness. Yeah, 6 preseason games. And we traveled. We didn't play very many at home. We played games back in Massachusetts, in Oklahoma. We played a game in Tokyo. We played a game in Hawaii. And we lost probably all of them.
Well, at least you got a little beach time in Hawaii. 55-yard field goal attempt by Zane Gonzalez is good. So Gonzalez in regular season form. Good snap, good hold. And the Arizona Cardinals take their first lead of the night. "55-yard field goal by Zane Gonzalez. And so Arizona taking their first lead of the night. Spiro Ditas, LaDainian Tomlinson, Dan Fouts, and Haley Elwood down on the sidelines. As we continue, State Farm Stadium here in Glendale for the preseason opener between the Chargers and the Cardinals. Chargers will get it back. Good looking return here by Troymaine Pope as he's able to cross the 15-yard line. And we go back downstairs to Haley.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So, I mean, we've talked a little bit tonight about who's missing on this offense, whether it's Melvin Gordon or Russell Okung, but let's take a minute to talk about someone who's back, and that is Hunter Henry. Although he was back for the divisional round playoff game, and Philip Rivers said he feels like he's been back for a while now, but full regular season back on the horizon for number 86. So what does that ultimately mean? I mean, the return of Hunter adds so much to this offense. It opens up the game. It adds versatility. Philip Rivers calls him a complete tight end. Ken Wisenhunt calls him a dual threat tight end, being a good blocker and a good receiver. And I mean, hey, Philip Rivers, he's going to be lucky to have number 86 back. And they actually got some work in over the summer. Both of them were on vacation together. And Philip said he threw the ball around with Hunter and Hunter's brothers a little bit. So they got that rapport going before training camp. And now as we get into the preseason and regular season, guys.
Offensive penalty against the Chargers. And Haley, you're right. It was kind of an impromptu off-season workout as Hunter happened to be vacationing very close to where Philip spends his summers in Florida with his family, so they were able to throw a little bit together. But you know, that absence for Hunter Henry last year with the devastating ACL tear on the first day of minicamp in May really left Rivers guys without one of his most dangerous offensive weapons. And so we get a look at Pope up the middle. Good looking sprints out across the 20, close to the 25-yard line. Henry played 14 snaps, Dan, in that divisional round
number 78.
Loss against New England.
Up the distance to the
So
goal.
this run is coming back again.
First down.
But he is back to full strength, and a huge piece rejoins this offense.
Well, he's especially going to be very valuable in the red zone when you combine the skills of Mike Williams at 6'4" and what a big target he is. Henry has that same type of ability.
Right now, the focus on the new Chargers quarterback, Easton Stick, the young man whom Tom Telesco and the Chargers took with their 5th-round pick. What a collegiate career he had at North Dakota State. A give here to Pope after the penalty on 1st and 20. First thing people say is we get another marker thrown here. This one again appears to be against the Chargers.
Holding. Offense, number 36. Half the distance to the goal. Still first down.
Well, guys, you ask Anthony Lynn, any of these coaches about this kid, the first thing they say is he's a winner.
Correction. Arizona has decided to decline the foul. It's 2nd down.
Kid's a winner. 49-3 as a collegiate at North Dakota State. Started as the backup behind Carson Wentz. FCS collegiate record for most wins by a starter. And Chargers surprised some people, Dan, taking him with a 5th-round pick.
Yeah, but that intangible, being a winner. Yeah, he won a couple of national titles at North Dakota State.
Stick absorbing that rush, finding Pope. Out of the backfield, Pope run out of bounds after a pickup of 11.
Yeah, good to see Dan Feeney out in front of that. Feeney playing center for the Chargers. Here's Feeney right in front of Stick. He's going to lead the way on this screen. Getting help from Scott Quesenberry as well, but it was Feeney's block. It got Pope down the sideline.
The Chargers Pro Bowl center Mike Pouncey getting the night off, and so it has been Dan Feeney as the starting center. He's played the entire night. A position, by the way, he never played in high school or college, never took a snap at center. And Stick's pass is incomplete, and it will be 4th down. Intended receiver on the play was Justice Liggins. So the Chargers will send out their punt unit. And Tyler Newsome will get another chance. There's Feeney coming off the field. Feeney, the first-time full-time starter last year at the left guard position, but getting some extensive look.
Anthony Lynn told us before the game that some of these young guys like Feeney and Forrest Lamp would get a lot of reps tonight because they need the reps, they need the experience.
Short pump fielded by TJ Logan, and a return of 8. Well, the official Los Angeles Chargers mobile app has all the best team and player news, real-time stats, and your favorite Chargers content live. Download the Chargers app today. Guys, we keep going back to that offensive line for a team that has Super Bowl aspirations. You've got a future Hall of Fame quarterback. Of course, the uncertainty with the Melvin Gordon holdout, but to have this kind of uncertainty with that offensive line, we've been talking about Russell Okung at left tackle. It has to be a little bit uneasy for Anthony Lynn and Ken Wisenhunt and these offensive coaches as they try to fit some of these pieces together here over the next couple of weeks.
And a big part of putting the pieces together is versatility. You know, Feeney was basically a guard, but the more you can do, the more valuable you are, obviously, especially on that offensive line where past couple of years, the Chargers have really been snake bit by injuries up front. And being able to play more than just one position is obviously very valuable.
Speaking of being able to play more than one position, Sam Tevy also is a guy I believe can swing over at times to left tackle. He's done it in the past, so you have to have some versatility along that offensive line.
Tevy last year was their right tackle and really struggled at times for Anthony Lynn. It's, of course, Forrest Lamp trying to resurrect his career after basically missing the first 2 seasons of his NFL career. That devastating ACL injury in training camp of his rookie season a couple of summers ago. As they try to work through some of the kinks, there's Lamp on that sideline. They say he looks great, as strong as he's ever been. He's been bulldozing people in practice. And this kid is itching to put that uniform on in a regular season game. Anderson, a wobbly pass, and it's intercepted. That's the first takeaway of the night for the Chargers, and it's the rookie Drew Tranquill on the pick. Tranquill, the 4th-round pick, going airborne for the takeaway.
And he had to go a long way for it, too. He's got his eyes on the quarterback, dropping into his zone. This is what you call an ill-advised pass, trying to drop it in over the linebacker, but Tranquill very peacefully makes this catch.
Tranquill, such an incredible story. Kid who's overcome 2 ACL surgeries over a 10-month span. He's actually already married. He became a father back in May, just as he was experiencing his first NFL mini camp. You talk about a whirlwind couple of months for that young man. Tom Telesco using a 4th-round pick to select him out of Notre Dame. Here is Stick. Shows sleight of hand. And Stick showing the wheels. They talk about how athletic this kid is. It's a 25-yard first-down run as we move inside of 3 minutes left.
Yeah, a little read option. He's going to fake the ball to Pope on the draw and just pull it and outrun the corner. And does not go out of bounds. Saw extra daylight between tacklers. Impressive run.
Easton Stick is saying, Kyler Murray who? I can do the same types of things.
Well, we certainly saw him extend plays like that at North Dakota State. And an impressive run there to set up a 1st and 10 inside Arizona territory. Stick going to work and delivers a strike. It's inside the Arizona 40-yard line. First catch of the night by Malachi Dupree, a pickup of 7.
That's what you want to see from a young quarterback. Hit that back foot and get the ball out of his hands, be decisive.
And you also are looking for ball placement. He threw that ball away from the defender where only Dupree could make the catch.
Well, guys, it sounds crazy to say, but you know, Phillip Rivers, again, 37 years old. At some point, the Chargers are going to have to look to the future and figure out who their long-term quarterback is down the road when Rivers finally decides to hang it up. And right now, they're getting their first glimpse of their 5th-round pick, Easton Stick. Of course, Rivers going nowhere anytime soon.
He looks like he's still 21 years old, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
He's a real stud.
What an opportunity for Stick to play behind and learn from a guy like Rivers through the offseason program and now in the training camp. Talked about how Stick played behind Carson Wentz for a couple of years at North Dakota State. Those two have become very close. And Stick now with a chance to learn from the future Hall of Famer Rivers. That's Detrez Newsome. Actually dump him down for a loss of a yard.
Yeah, a lot of questions about this arm strength of Stick. What I want to see now on this drive is I want to see him push the ball down the field. We've seen a number of short passes, a couple of screens, a couple of checkdowns like that one. But let's see him get the ball down the field and see just how strong his arm is.
It's a great point, Dan. If you're going to play quarterback in the National Football League, you have to be able to push the ball down the field.
Stick hit on the release. That pass deflected, but nearly picked. Stick fortunate there. Never really had a chance. Heavy pressure on that play by Michael Doby.
Doby is number 91. I believe he's right here. Check out the pass protection or lack thereof. He gets in there, and lucky this one wasn't picked up because it's deflected at the line of scrimmage.
That looked like a blown assignment by the young tackle Trey Pipkins.
Yep.
Went the wrong way.
Dietrich Nichols was the man who had a chance at the interception initially. So 16 seconds left in the quarter, 3rd and 10. Stick's pass this time is picked. Never saw the defender. It's Tyler Sigler. All the way down inside the Chargers 30. And it was Stick who may have saved the pick 6. 52 yards on the return by Sigler.
He just eyeballs the defender here and threw a perfect strike right between the 3 and the 9. Here's the defender here. But I got to give it to Stick for hustling. There's the tackle by Stick. Heck of a job hustling. Ball intended here for Smallwood. Never got close to him.
Second Chargers turnover of the night. Eckler the fumble early. And now this Chargers defense will try to keep them out of the end zone. Stick upset with himself as he throws the interception on his first NFL drive in the preseason.
Receiver is Smallwood on a crossing route, but the defender is going to cut right in front. That's number 39, Tyler Sigler. And the mistake that Stick made is he looking left and then just automatically thinking he's got it wide open on the back side of the route.
And Dan, that's a normal mistake for a young quarterback. Sometimes they just throw without looking in front of the wide receiver and reading that defense all the way out.
And they're on the tablet on the sideline, probably discussing just what you saw, LT. Looking left initially and then just automatically thinking he's got something back over the middle. But again, competing with Cardale Jones
for that number 3 quarterback spot behind Rivers and Tyrod Taylor. New quarterback for Arizona, by the way, is Charles Knopf, the former Princeton star, undrafted, and a kid who's actually from the state of California, Pacific Palisades native. 3rd different quarterback that we have seen tonight. Make it the 4th different quarterback for Arizona.
Knopf, a product of Harvard Westlake High School.
Here's Gus Bradley eyeing some of these third and fourth stringers. Second burst by Wes Hills gets him in for the Cardinals touchdown. So the interception by Stick, and Arizona makes him pay for it.
Yeah, Wes Hills from Slippery Rock. He gets in rather easily. Big number 49, 218 pounds. Breaks 2 tackles and then dives, extends across the goal line.
Great job by Wes Hills there of getting his pass low. He's a big man, and you get that big man going forward, get his pass low, and he's going to knock some people into the end zone.
It's a lot of girth by Hills as he busts his way into the end zone. So 17 unanswered points for the Cardinals, and the Chargers now at a 10-point hole. Well, we're going to find out what kind of moxie this kid Easton Stick has after the interception. How does he come back psychologically? Tyler Sigler on the pick, the long 52-yard return, and Wes Hills able to do the rest. Social media accounts provide fun and authentic team content all year long. Don't miss a moment. Get all our best content on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Snapchat. You will not find Dan Fouts, I don't believe, on any of those social media platforms.
Well,
Dan's still not on Twitter, huh?
What's that?
Good for you. Short kick fielded here by Derek Gore from his own goal line. And excellent coverage down the field by the Cardinals. Well, the countdown to the new stadium in Inglewood and Hollywood Park is on. They're on schedule for a 2020 opening next season. The place is going to be an absolute palace. It'll be the future home as well of NFL media. 70,000 capacity, that one-of-a-kind canopy. You'll have the natural light from both directions. Guys, it is going to be unlike any venue we have ever seen, certainly in the NFL and maybe in professional sports in North America.
Well, and expandable to 100,000. Can you say Super Bowl every 5 years, perhaps?
That would be awesome.
Without a doubt, with the regular Super Bowl rotation starting in February of 2022, Super Bowl 56. As Easton Stick, the interception a couple of minutes ago, and this time he is decked. It's a loss of 5, and it has been an unwelcome welcome for Mr. Stick.
He really gets drilled here, too. Watch the left arm.
Number 78 is eligible. 78.
On this pass rush, right to the chops of Easton Stick.
And again, the young rookie, Trey Pipkins, struggling at the left tackle position there. Giving up a sack.
Delayed handoff by Stick again. This is why it's so hard to evaluate a guy like Stick. You know, at the end of these preseason games, you're playing behind third and fourth string guys on the offensive line, just hoping that they can get him some time to throw the football.
Well, you touched upon it. How do you bounce back from a devastating turnover like that? The Chargers had a good drive. He had a good run. He was doing a good job in the pocket, but just made a rookie mistake throwing the ball to the other team. But how do you come back from that? We'll see.
He needs to get some help from his offensive line.
That would help. Yeah, that'd be good.
Stick from his own end zone on 3rd and 16, throws a bullet, and it is caught. What a pass by Stick, finding Jordan Smallwood 20 yards on a 3rd and 16 for the Bolts' first down.
Yeah, Spiro, and finally pushing the ball down the field. He throws this ball on a line. Now does Smallwood get him in? He got his left knee down.
Left knee down.
That counts.
The knee equals 2 feet. And Stick wisely gets him up to the line of scrimmage. How about that savvy by the young rookie quarterback?
Well, you know, he's getting help from the coaching staff because he's got that communication in his helmet. They have an automatic call to get to the line of scrimmage and try to beat the replay.
And just early on, Easton seems to have the presence that you want to see in the young quarterback. He hasn't gotten flustered out there, even in throwing the interception. He's come back nicely, made the nice throw there on 3rd third down. So I like what I see from Easton Stick right now.
Where does the rookie go here? From a gun on 2nd and 8. Under some pressure. Felt it right in his face and completes nonetheless. 15 yards here. And that's going to be good for another Chargers first down. That's Vince Mayle.
Yeah, really good composure.
Vince Mayle, I beg your pardon.
Good composure that time. Watch Stick as he shrugs off a tackler, steps up into the pocket, keeps his feet underneath him, and throws a perfect strike out to Mayle.
First catch of the night for Mayle.
Great pocket presence.
Stick grew up in Nebraska, born in Omaha. And his first taste of the NFL preseason over the middle, perfectly thrown pass. It's Dupree for his second catch. And how about this response from Easton Stick? The interception on his first possession, and good here for 20 yards.
Yeah, a little play action fake, getting back deep, stepping up in good rhythm and firing a fastball. And Dupree with a good solid catch. And this is the type of reaction you hope to see from a young quarterback after an interception.
Well, people talked about his athleticism at North Dakota State, able to extend plays, but also his accuracy. And that has been on display here on his first 2 possessions in the preseason. This is Pope able to bounce to the outside. There was a marker thrown. 2 flags in the play. One behind the line of scrimmage and then one from the secondary. And we'll see if this one's coming back.
You would suspect holding.
Holding. Offense number 46, 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
So that will wipe away a good-looking run. Matt Sokol, the man penalized for the Chargers. So Chargers down 10, 9:45 left. But this is some good evaluation time here for the Chargers staff as they take their first glimpse of their 5th-round pick, the quarterback Easton Stick out of North Dakota State. So the penalty numbers in this game starting to stack up for both teams. Stick on 1st and 20. It's Jeremy Cox with his first touch of the night, a pickup of a couple. And Stick getting the play call from Ken Wisenhunt. Speaking of whiz guys, he's talked about how impressive he's been with Stick and his initial playbook retention. As here's a rookie learning his first NFL playbook. It's always kind of a crapshoot with how these guys are going to handle that volume. But Wisenhunt has been very impressed with that aspect of Easton's game. 2nd and 18. Marker thrown behind the play. Stick nowhere to throw. Able to get inside the Cardinals 30. It's a pickup of 10. Hayes Pillard, the former Jacksonville Jaguar, on the tackle. But 2 flags behind the line of scrimmage.
You can tell he learned from the previous series there. He looked like he wanted to throw the ball. And
there are 2 fouls by the offense on the play. Illegal use of hands to the face, number 74. That penalty's declined. Holding, number 77. That 10-yard penalty will be enforced. Replay, 2nd down.
So Easton saw that the man wasn't open, pulled the ball down, pulled it back, and then took off. So he's learning from his mistakes out there.
Stick, the 3rd different quarterback we've seen tonight. He's in a training camp preseason battle with Cardale Jones for the number 3 quarterback spot behind Rivers and Tyrod Taylor. And despite that interception, he has looked awfully impressive. Here he is on 2nd and 28, up the seam, incomplete, and there's the flag. The intended receiver was Jason Moore, the undrafted kid out of Division II Findlay.
And Jalen Thompson will get called for pass interference.
Pass interference. Defense number 38. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. First down, Los Angeles.
First pass interference penalty of the night.
Yeah, we haven't had an offensive pass interference, or one of those pass interferences that they can have instant replay take a look at.
It turns out to be a 22-yard penalty and a fresh set of downs for Easton Stick and the Chargers.
And it's not that I want to see. The officials have to figure that new rule out. This is going to be a tough one.
We haven't seen any pass interferences reviewed yet in this game. That's the new big rule in the NFL this season that has everyone talking. Chargers lose 5 on that play. Troymaine Pope no day late. Good defensive play by Deontay Thompson. It'll be 2nd and 13. There's Ken Wisenhunt, former head coach right here in Arizona, before moving on to Tennessee, where it did not work out for him very well.
He took the Cardinals to the Super Bowl.
Yes, he did. What a run he had here with the Cardinals. Stick's pass incomplete. Off the hands of Malachi Dupree, and it will be 3rd and long.
Good pressure that time by the Cardinals. Made Stick throw that ball a little bit too high. And again, Stick is going to hit the turf here at State Farm Stadium.
The Chargers kept 6 wide receivers last year. And these guys on the field are fighting for that last spot. Malachi Dupree among them. Stick from the shotgun on 3rd and 13. Nowhere to go down the field. He's going to run for it. Stick has it and more. He's still on his feet. Stick to the end zone for the touchdown. Incredible run by the 5th round pick.
That's what he has shown in college, and now he's showing it in his first preseason game.
Now you talk about determination. This is the epitome of it. First of all, he recognizes the defense, a blitz coming, man-to-man in the secondary, and wide open spaces, but this is where it's impressive. One broken tackle there. Sees the goal line and just splits defenders and gets in.
There's something to be said, Dan, about heart and determination and just not being denied. And Easton Stick showed it on that play.
And it showed really good speed at the end to close to the goal line, extend the ball, break the play, and score.
31-yard touchdown run by Stick. Anthony Lynn keeps his offense onto the field. They'll go for 2. To try to get themselves a little bit closer. Stick to the end zone, back shoulder throw for Dupree, and it is batted down as the Chargers unable to convert that 2-point try. But what an incredible run by Easton Stick, that pure athletic ability on display in his preseason debut. Oh, if you like to be in the action, you'll love the Chargers End Zone Field Club seating experience. Experience seats on the field, a pregame reception, and all-inclusive food and beverages. Get more information right now at Chargers.com. It is unlike any in-stadium game day experience you will have in the NFL. There's Easton Stick, the 5th round pick out of North Dakota State. Threw an interception on his first possession earlier in the half, but gentlemen, he comes right back and has the exact kind of response Anthony Lynn and Ken Wisenhunt were hoping for, the 31-yard touchdown run to bring the Chargers within 4. You talk about the highs and lows of an NFL rookie. You go from interception to touchdown drive, 1 possession apart.
Yeah, big mistake here, but he bounced back as we were talking about. But he just shows you his heart and his determination. First of all, he made a great tackle to save a touchdown. And then this run is just the epitome of young Easton Stick.
There's Ken Wisenhunt coming over to shake his hand. Has to feel good for Stick. You saw him getting coached up after the interception, kept his head, and just a very impressive night for the kid out of Omaha, Nebraska. Cardinals offense back onto the field with Arizona up 4, and we go back downstairs to Haley Elwood standing by with Mike Williams.
All right, thanks, Spiro. Mike, you had that 28-yard gain on 3rd down to move the chains. That drive ultimately ended up in a touchdown. How did it feel to get back out there tonight?
Oh, it felt good. You know, it's a game situation, so it's always good when you come out here in a game situation to make plays for the team.
11 total touchdowns last season. What a difference a year makes, huh?
For sure. First year wasn't nothing what I expected. Year 2 was a little bit of something. Now year 3, you know, it's come with a lot more sauce, a lot more flavor. We can have fun.
More sauce. I like that. I like that. Do you think you proved any doubters wrong last season?
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, I mean, it don't matter what you're doing, you can still have doubters. You know, year 3, I'm looking for, you know, to just sky's the limit. You know, I'm capable of making a lot of plays in this offense and in this league, so I'm just looking forward for it.
Talk to me a little bit about this wide receiver room. We know we have Keenan, Travis Benjamin, but the guys who are competing for those 4th and 5th spots, what are you seeing out of them?
It's a deep group. I mean, we got guys, Tay Jern, you know, Justice, rest of the young guys, Jason, and it's a young group, and dudes are making a lot of plays. You know, everybody see them making plays in camp, and it's showing up on film.
Well, you certainly made plays. We look forward to that sauce this season. Thanks, Mike.
For sure.
All right, Haley, how did it feel good for Mike Williams last year, coming back from that back injury that had him stumbling out of the gate? 7th overall pick a couple of years ago, but the back injury that cost him the first half of his rookie season last year really came back strong. 10 touchdown catches, guys, most by a Chargers receiver since Phillip Rivers took over as the starter in 2006. And part of the reason why Tom Telesco and company were comfortable letting Tyrell Williams walk in free agency was that they really feel like Williams is ready to take an even bigger step this season.
Well, he has great upside, as we can all see, but you know, he's just scratching the surface of what he's going to be in the National Football League. The kid really does have all the tools to be a really good receiver for a long time.
16-yard catch by Isaac Zico. Dan, I know you were very impressed with what you saw from Williams last year and the kind of player that he continues to become as he steps into his potential.
Well, we saw the one catch he made tonight was just typical of Williams. A high ball, back shoulder throw on the fade, and he's got the catch radius of a guy 6'4". He's got real strong hands to be able to make the catch above the defense.
He had 3 multi-touchdown games last year, including Week 15, that incredible come-from-behind win in Kansas City on a night that he scored 20 of their 29 points in that game. Really the highlight of his burgeoning NFL career. But, you know, as good as Williams is, he's a physical receiver. They still have to figure out, Dan, who's going to replace Tyrell Williams and become that down-the-field vertical threat. You know, Travis Benjamin could be that guy. He's been battling injuries, unavailable tonight. And certainly a guy down the field that Rivers is going to need this season.
Well, and Benjamin had a disappointing year last year, just 12 catches. Got in the end zone just 1 time. Need more out of Benjamin, but they need him to stay healthy.
Some movement here pre-snap.
And that's an area where you touched on it.
Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
You touched on it, Spiro. They need a guy that can attack the defense deep. Whether it's in the slot, out wide, they need a guy that they can go down the field like Tyrell Williams did for them back in the past. And Travis Benjamin, if he can step up and stay healthy, he can be that guy. He's shown flashes of being able to do it, but it would be nice to see a young guy emerge to be that threat.
Dan, you have any cure for the hiccups? We got to help our boy LT out.
Deep breath, LT, deep breath.
On 2nd and 9, that pass is caught. It looks like an 8-yard reception. Zico on the delivery by Charles Knopf, the young man out of Pacific Palisades, California. There's Mike Williams. As it will be 3rd and short.
One guy that we haven't really seen tonight at the wide receiver position that has had a great camp is Octavius Scott.
Sure.
Who we thought could emerge to be a slot guy, a deep threat. He certainly has been back there as a returner. We really haven't seen him flash at the wide receiver position.
And a teammate at college of Mike Williams at Clemson.
A nice little second burst. It's a run of 7 yards by Dante Strickland. Well, there's Artavis Scott down on the Chargers sideline. Scott was having that terrific training camp and preseason last year before the season-ending ankle injury that he sustained in the final preseason game at San Francisco.
Los Angeles.
Was really poised to make the team, but that, of course, bid ended with the injury. He's had an equally impressive training camp this year. Arizona takes a timeout. I beg your pardon, it's the Chargers with 3:09 left in a 4-point game. Well, Chargers fans, if you want exclusive Chargers content while you're on the move, tune into the official Chargers podcast and go deep with the experts. Subscribe today wherever you listen to your podcasts. Plenty of Chargers flavor in the house tonight. Glendale, Arizona, preseason opener for both the Chargers and the Cardinals.
That guy's doing his own podcast right now.
Gets wacky late into the night in the preseason. Easton Stick leading the touchdown drive for the Chargers to cut the Arizona lead to 4 as we play with 3:09 left in the fourth.
False start. Offense number 66. 5-yard penalty. First down.
That's Josh Miles, second penalty on him in successive possessions. And it will be 1st and 15 after the penalty. There's Stick. He's a whole lot better about himself than he did after that interception. Cardinals keep it on the ground here.
This is an important part of
Los Angeles.
NFL football. This is called 4 minute, where one team is trying to run out the clock and the other team is trying to stop them. And right now, the Los Angeles Chargers need to get a stop to get Easton Stick and this offense back on the field to try for a late touchdown and win this game.
Well, Phillip just never stops, does he?
No, he's into it.
Just a bundle of energy. Tyrod has talked about everything he's taken and learned from Rivers already as they went through the offseason together. Tyrod, of course, backed up Joe Flacco his first 4 years in the league in Baltimore. Was a part of that 2012 Ravens Super Bowl championship team. Finally got his chance at Buffalo, 3 years as the Bills starter. And, of course, last year in Cleveland. Started the first 3 games of the season before the concussion ended his run there. Then, of course, Baker Mania began. And that ended Tyrod's run with the ground. The football is loose. Who's got it? Play was never whistled dead. Cardinals say they have it. And it will indeed be Cardinals football. So it's a 12-yard pickup on the play. Arizona recovers, and it will be 3rd down.
The Chargers should use a timeout here before the 2-minute warning.
They're out of timeouts.
Yeah, they actually used their final timeout in that last sequence, so they're out of timeouts here, unable to stop the clock. It was Patrick Lawrence who recovered the fumble for Arizona.
Timeout, Arizona. Their first 30-second timeout.
Well, Dan, it looks like Arizona will oblige, take a timeout, trying to get themselves set up properly here. 2:04 to play, still the 2-minute warning. As Anthony Lynn looks on, gearing up for what is his 3rd season, 22-12, including the postseason. Chargers have gone 21-7 over their last 28 regular season games under Lynn. Lynn, of course, the runner-up in the Coach of the Year award running last year, has led the Chargers to back-to-back winning seasons, and now can they take that next step? as they compete in the AFC behind New England, Kansas City, and all the rest. Dante Strickland looks like we'll have enough for an Arizona first down. And that will take us to the 2-minute warning in a 4-point game here on ABC 7. LA Stadium at Hollywood Park is going to be a global sports and entertainment destination, and it's the future home of your Los Angeles Chargers. Home games will feature an unparalleled fan experience. Reserve your seats today by visiting Chargers.com. Spiro Ditas, LaDainian Tomlinson, Dan Fouts, a couple of Hall of Famers up here in the booth. Haley Elwood down on the field doing a terrific job patrolling the sidelines. And she has had a front row seat for what we've seen tonight from Easton Stick. A couple of very impressive possessions. One ending not so impressively with the interception, but the touchdown run. 31-yard sprint by Stick to get the Chargers into the end zone for the second time tonight. Guys, takeaways from what you've seen in this game.
Well, it was a bit up and down for me. Offensively, I did see some really good things from the first unit. Tyrell Taylor really did a good job of commanding the offense. Looked like he was already comfortable with the offense, even though this is his first season learning this type of offense. And then the running backs, I got to go back to them. Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson, filling in for Melvin Gordon, did a phenomenal job. Obviously, the fumble by Austin Eckler, you don't want to see that. But overall, did a really good job. Offensive line, that's the key. These guys still have to come together. Going into the first game of the season, we'll see if they can solidify 5 guys that are going to stick together and really keep Phillip Rivers upright.
And we talked a lot about how Easton Stick bounced back after the interception. Well, the numbers prove it. He had 4 out of 5 passes. The one that he missed on was that high ball that couldn't be brought in by Smallwood. And then that was good for 61 yards. And, of course, the touchdown run was just a thing of beauty, heart, determination, all that to get in the end zone. That's the way you want to bounce back from a pick.
So the Arizona Cardinals are going to hold on for the 4-point win in this preseason opener for both teams. Anthony Lynn, Cliff Kingsbury coming together at the center of the field as the Chargers will begin their preparations for their second preseason game next week. And Carson against Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. We also saw the preseason debut tonight of the first overall pick in the NFL draft. Kyler Murray finished 6 of 7 at about 60 yards of passing. But all in all, if you're a head coach, so many of these guys say that their goal in a preseason game, A, is to come out healthy, and for the most part, with the exception of backup tight end Andrew Ballard, that happened tonight. So a good start to begin the preseason for the Chargers.
Yeah, a lot of pluses to look at for the coaching staff. Of course, they'll find a lot of minuses too. That's what coaches do in the preseason. Too many penalties, that's one of them. They have to eliminate that.
And defense played well tonight, even though it's a bunch of young guys that are in there tonight. I thought, they're getting the experience that they need, as we talked about. They need rotational guys. We know who the stars are. We need guys that are going to add depth to this defense. If they can do that, and they're going to build on a really solid overall team.
Impressive NFL preseason debut for Easton Stick, but it was not enough as the Arizona Cardinals with the win in the preseason opener. Final score tonight, 17-13. Now for LaDainian Tomlinson, Dan Fouts, Haley Elwood, this is Spiro Ditas saying good night from Arizona, where once again the final Cardinals 17 and the Chargers 13. For those of you watching on KABC, stay tuned for the Chargers postgame next. Here's Rob Fukuzaki.